New South Wales Chief Justice Andrew Bell has criticised one of his judges for sending a frankly bizarre, imprudent email to Nationals MP Pat Conaghan. Supreme Court Justice Ian Harrison wrote to Mr Conaghan following the MP's speech in the House, where he said the so-called voice would divide the nation along the lines of race and would offer no practical benefits. That saw the Supreme Court Justice call Pat Conaghan's views disgusting, paternalistic and racist. Joining me now is National MP's Pat Conaghan. Pat, I imagine you were rather shocked to receive this email and to be accused of holding disgusting racist views.
Thanks for having me, Rita. I was absolutely astonished when I received the email. In fact, I had to read it a few times and then I went back and checked the email address to make sure that it was actually genuine. Because my speech, in my view, in my opinion, was extremely balanced. I even complimented the Minister Burney, on her views and what she had been doing. And I thought I was extremely considered. So when I received this tirade from a Supreme Court Justice, I was gobsmacked. I sent it around to my colleagues and asked, has anybody else received a similar email? I was just bemused at why he singled me out.
Well, absolutely. I've had a look at the text of your speech and there's just nothing there to inspire this sort of reaction, and then to go ahead and send this to you from his official account. No wonder Chief Justice Bell issued a short statement ticking off this judge. Are you satisfied with that? And what does it say about the judiciary that they see any opposition, or some of them see any opposition to enshrining racial privilege into the Constitution? They see that as racist and disgusting.
Look, I am satisfied with Justice Bell's response, and I don't think it would do anything by referring Justice Harrison to the New South Wales Judicial Commission. It's not going to achieve anything. But I make the point that I've received a wave of correspondence from my former colleagues. I was a lawyer in the past. Saying this was completely, in their view, completely inappropriate that Justice Harrison sent me the email in the first place. He could have made a submission to the Joint Select Committee that I was on. Many did in their own capacity. But it just shows the divide across the nation, not just between lawyers, but between, ordinary Australians.
Well, that's what this race-based referendum is going to do. It's only going to get worse. The voice, some say, will be a lawyer's picnic if it gets up. Prominent Victorian barrister Stuart Wood KC said there was a big incentive for lawyers to be seen supporting the voice to Parliament. This is your former profession. Do you agree with that assessment?
Look, that will be in the test of time. But what I can say, because I've spoken to my colleagues, is that many of them who choose to say no won't step up and say that publicly, because they'll be denigrated or ostracised in the legal industry or the legal field, and potentially lose work, because many of them rely on that bread and butter work of legal aid or Aboriginal legal service, and they're too afraid to step out and say, well, I don't agree with the voice because of the principles, because of the division. And again, it represents that, if you want to say no, that you're too afraid to go out there, because you will be labelled racist, you will be labelled paternalistic, and you will be labelled disgusting.
Well, that's just crazy. To be called racist because you oppose enshrining racial privilege into the Constitution. I mean, it is gaslighting. It is literally the opposite of what you are. Pat Conaghan, thank you so much for joining me tonight.